The number one piece of advice we give to YC companies before they launch is launch. I can't tell you how many people will just sit there and iterate before users ever see anything. So when I ask a company how long is it going to take to launch, I always just ask them, why does it take longer than 2 months? Like, I don't care what it is. I don't care if they haven't started yet. You should be able to build something in 2 months and get it in front of users. This is just saying it one more time. You're nothing until you launch. So how do you achieve growth? I would say that for the typical Silicon Valley investor, this is the number one metric for determining whether you're going to raise money. It's not team. It's not past experience. It's not fancy investors. It's growth. So typically you're going to go one of 3 places. One, you're going to experiment with ads. I tend to like that strategy the least. The second, if you're B2B, you really want to focus on reference customers. The customers who you can provide amazing service to, who is going to talk to other people in their industry and spread the word about you. The last one, if you're doing anything related to consumer, whether it's consumer services, social media, etc., usage should equal sharing. I can't tell you how many founders I've talked to said, oh, I'm going to make my thing go viral. Well, if you want to make your thing go viral, it doesn't mean just adding a share button. The very fact that people are using your product has to create some type of sharing that has to be built in from day one. And so don't think of sharing as an extra activity or a side activity. Think of it as 100% part of using your product. All right, press. A lot of people think that they need to hire someone to do their PR. At Justin TV, me and my co-founder had a little competition on how much money we've wasted, and we'd write it up on a whiteboard. And every time we wasted money, we'd write it up there and add it up. I've wasted over $150,000 on PR firms. So I'm giving this advice because I don't want you to do the same thing. 99% of PR in the early stage, you can do yourself. The best piece of advice I've been given about PR, the thing that completely changed my whole perception, is that PR is exactly like business development. When you're trying to do a BD deal, you get a warm introduction, you follow up, you build a relationship, and you provide something of value. When you're dealing with press, it's the exact same thing. You need to get an introduction from someone, hopefully, who that reporter has always written about. You need to be able to structure your pitch so that it's real news, something launching, money being raised, a significant hire, a significant new BD deal. You can't just expect the profile piece. And what you need to do is make sure you treat that as a relationship. Once you have a reporter who's written about you, you've got to follow up with them. That becomes a very, very important relationship that can continue to provide value if you continue to follow up. PR, very simple, and don't spend money. Fundraising. Typically, companies will come to YC and ask, how do we start fundraising? And the number one thing we say to them is that if you don't need money, people love to give it to you. So how do you put yourself in the position of not needing money? One, let's not start the company with a $1 million marketing and advertising plan, right? You need money for that. Think about how you can structure your company so all you have to do is pay for the living expenses of your co-founders. That's it. Hopefully your MVP requires so little money to get up and running that you can produce some growth without needing it. The second thing is that people don't quite understand that speed when it comes to fundraising is extremely important. When you have meetings with investors, you want them to be scheduled as tightly as possible, like 1 week, every single introduction meeting you have with an investor. The purpose of this is that 1, it creates buzz around your fundraise. 2, it lines all the investors up. So if one investor wants to take a step forward, you can contact everyone else you just met in the previous week and said, hey, look, we've got someone on hook here. Do you want to come along or not? The biggest mistake we see people make is doing these investment meetings serially. I'll take one this week. I'll take one next week. I'll take one the week after that. Investors move because they have a fear of missing out, FOMO.